Cryptocurrency and traditional markets turn green today as we experience a bullish Monday, with the majors breaking above significant resistance and the halving right around the corner. Late sellers are beginning to flip long. Now, with Bitcoin Cash's halving less than 2 days away, Bitcoin.com has just fired half of its staff. So it seems all is not so bullish over in BCH land. And there's a lot of talk about the miner death spiral. So we'll break down what that means and why the notion, as it's commonly referenced, is bogus. And we chime in on Money Heist and Ledger tonight in Breaking Bitcoin.
This is Enzo from OKEX, and you're watching Breaking Bitcoin.
Welcome back to the Breaking Bitcoin show. We are live every evening at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is your evening source for everything markets and finance. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. We've got a great show for you guys this evening. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Otherwise, you won't get notified when we go live, and smash the like button. We've got such a good show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about so much. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin.com laying off half of their staff and how really it's just not so pretty over there. We've got a lot to talk about. And I talked about this earlier today in my market analysis, but this is going to be kind of an interesting correlation. It's going to be easy for me to say that what happens with Bitcoin Cash and what happens with Bitcoin is completely different, because you have two different dynamics. You have two different chains. You have one that is genuinely seen by the world as a potentially reserve currency, as a store of value, as a medium of exchange. And you have Bitcoin Cash on the other hand. So, it's easy from that correlation to say, well, you can't put those two together. It doesn't matter how Bitcoin Cash responds post-halving, right? You can't correlate that to what Bitcoin will do post-halving, because of course that's what everybody is watching. Even traditional investors are watching the halving that's upcoming. Even though it's only happened twice before, and we know all the correlations, we know all the caveats, but it's still a significant event, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it impacts price when it happens here in less than 2 months. We're almost there. May. It's going to happen in May. But Bitcoin Cash is having their halving in just a couple of days, like 1 day and like 10 hours, I think. We're going to be having the Bitcoin Cash halving. And although they are fundamentally different blockchains, it's going to be interesting to see how Bitcoin Cash responds, how the market responds in its price. And I think that we will be able to kind of get a good glimmer of what we can expect from Bitcoin, right? Overall, does price go up? Does price go down? Does price not care? Does price... And again, typically what happens post-halving, like immediately post-halving, is price moves down, consolidates for a while, and then we break to the upside in a significant fashion, all right? More significant than what we appear to be doing today, all right? We're also going to be breaking down today the three big movers of the day in altcoin land, Matic and Zem being a couple of them. We're going to break down the cryptocurrency charts. We're going to be looking at Forex. We're going to be looking at CFDs and ETFs as well, looking at basically the activity that we did today as a trading group, looking over closed trades and things of that nature. If you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in the chat. The moderators will direct my attention to them. The other thing we're going to be talking about is, miner death spirals, right? Like we've covered this so many times on the show. Like, is mining centralized? Why is mining centralized? What steps can be taken to decentralize mining? What are the economic incentives that go in to make mining centralized? Things of this nature. And kind of the notion that we wanted to dispel today is this idea of a miner death spiral, right? That will just drag the entire network down. It'll be dogs and cats living together, chaos and panic in the streets, right? And that's not really realistic, right? We're going to break that down, go over a few articles on why that is, and kind of go over the math as well. So without further ado, let's get right into today's show. We've got so much to talk about. Of course, if you guys want to follow us on Twitter and Twitch and Instagram, you guys will see exclusive content that you will not see anywhere else. Let's get going, guys. All right, to the live scene. All right, here we are in the live scene. Now I can bust open the old laptop. That way I can monitor the chat. Okay, hopefully you guys are doing well. It is a bullish Wednesday. No reason for everybody not to be making money. Let's start chanting. No reason for everybody not to be making money. I don't know why I have the volume muted and it was still doing stuff. Let's start chanting. Oh, it's DLive that's making, there we go. Okay, let's mute DLive. There we go. All right, things are looking good. And let's get this zoomed in just a little bit more so I can see. Boom. Snake Plissken, baby. You know it. Okay. I think we got everything good. What do we got? Who do we got in the chat? Jose. We got Ali, Mr. Ether, Yorick. Good to see you guys. Stephen Hyatt. We got Computer Tech Tutorials, Midwest Attempts. And my chat stopped updating. I just love it. There we go. All right, GBU Wally, Crypto Caveman, Tyler Dukacek, Spectre Security Coin, Crypto Jack. Good to see you guys. Bullish Monday. Did I say Wednesday, really? It's so bullish. That's why. It is so bullish. We've done kicked right on into Wednesday. We have done enough movement in one day that we don't even need the trading day of Tuesday, or really the opening of Wednesday. We're just going to go right into Wednesday's close, right? Like at midnight tonight, Central Standard Time, we'll just roll right over into Wednesday. There was enough price action. There was enough price action today for several weeks. All right. All right. So let's break this down, guys. All right. So the first thing we want to look at, okay. As we can see here, Bitcoin on the daily, obviously very bullish activity coming out of Bitcoin today. On the daily, things are good. We are not in overbought territory per Minx. We are above the breaking Bitcoin initiator. We are above the breaking Bitcoin continuation filter on the Heikinashi chart, as well as the traditional chart. It was recently asked for me to start pointing that out. The difference is because we have some members that are using Heikinashi for their smoothing. Don't necessarily recommend that, but it's not a bad strategy. So we are bullish. We have a bullish Heikinashi trend. We have a bullish breaking Bitcoin trend as well. We have a bullish Minx trend above the zero line and trending nicely upwards. Looking at the 4-hour time frame on Bitcoin, we are overbought on Bitcoin. Of course, that can continue for a while. It does look like we are going to be getting a little bit of a pullback here. We've had, again, we've had a very nice good run here on the daily, and a pullback here does seem justified. If we can kind of zoom in on the 4-hour, we are starting to put in, we put in a little bit of a tail to the downside on the previous candle. We're putting in a doji on the current candle. We can see that kind of momentum and steam kind of waning a little bit. And of course, we are now entering into that extreme overbought territory on 4-hour Minx. 15-minute time frame, again, not the time. Sometimes you just want to get off the lower time frames, and this is why we trade the higher time frames. I mean, the 15-minute time frame has been signaling, very good as well. Every time we've gotten a sell signal, we've gotten a pullback, but it's just been unprofitable to try and trade reversals. And I have castigated and lamented several individuals today for attempting to short sell into this. Looking at the Renko trend, we are bullish. Renko flipped to bullish over here. Let's see here. Back on earlier today at about 1345 CST. Ethereum, no different. Bullish trend, Heikinashi and traditional candlesticks. Bullish above the breaking Bitcoin initiator, above the continuation filter. All signs are good. Fresh open candle, and it is a doji. It's actually a inverted hammer, which is a reversal candlestick. But of course, the daily hasn't closed. We need to give this some time. And the 4-hour, of course, getting a little overextended. We are in extreme overbought territory on the 4-hour, so a pullback here does seem likely. Similarly, on the 15-minute Ethereum. This is the updated Minx that I'll be publishing later on in this week. It's got, you guys know how I am. It's stripped down as well. So there's more features on this baby, but you guys can see there, CC Minx. This is the V2 version. It's actually like V5 because this will be the 5th version of Minx that I've published. But and Ethereum USD. Caleb Smith, good to see you, my friend. Moonshine Fuel. How bullish is it? It's so bullish. It's so bullish. It's so bullish, we're going to get a pullback right now. That's how bullish it is. It's so bullish, we're going to fall off. We're going to fall off right back down to 5,500. That's how bullish it is. And Ethereum, we're in a bullish Renko trend. I mean, Renko, getting these movements really well. Actually, you know what I need to do with Renko there? I need to take that back down to the 1-second chart. There we go. Yeah, Renko catching this just fantabulously. All right, so let's get into and Bitcoin dominance. I wanted to talk about this as well. Bitcoin dominance pulling down, and this is good for altcoins, right? We've seen some really good movements from altcoins, and that's because we've been in a bit of a bearish trend here on Bitcoin dominance. We can see the local market top here. We can see this reversal doji and the nice follow through with this, with this fully bullish and bearish engulfing candle leading to this downtrend, and that has just followed along as well. I bet if we throw Yeah, if we throw the breaking Bitcoin filter on here, you can see where we flipped bearish on Bitcoin dominance back here on the 29th. And I've gotten a lot of questions like, when is a good time to be trading altcoins against BTC? When is a bad time to be trading altcoins against BTC? Well, Bitcoin dominance will tell you that. Bitcoin dominance is a pretty good confirmation on, whether you should or should not be trading alt Bitcoins. As Bitcoin dominance moving to the upside in a bullish trend, then typically you don't want to be taking altcoins to the long side. If Bitcoin dominance is bearish and trending the downside, then typically there's going to be good opportunities there because money is flowing in. Now, of course, that can just mean that everything is in a downtrend, but that's why you look at what Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin dominance is moving down, yet BTC USD is still moving up, that means that you will probably have the ability to make more money longing other altcoins. For example, Bitcoin up like what? What's the total gain on Bitcoin? All I can tell you is from an ROI perspective, I am up almost twice as much on Ethereum and XLM as I am on Bitcoin. But again, still long on Bitcoin and at risk, not only spot long, but with leverage too. In fact, hitting our first take profit. So my trades, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I took Bitcoin long, Ethereum long, XLM long, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XLM. Posted XLM the other night, and BNB. And all four of those trades are in no loss situations. And then I've got a ton of Forex trades in. I've got a ton of ETF trades in right now and CFD trades as well. Honestly, the trading right now is a lot to manage. That's why that's taking a lot of my time, honestly. So for premium members, they know I'm so active right now as a trader. Just trading the daily time frame. When you trade cryptocurrency, and that's Bybit and Binance Margin, and all the pairs that are applicable on Binance Margin as well as Kraken, Coinbase. I'll take, I'll trade. I'm exchange agnostic, honestly. As long as I'm not fully exchange agnostic. There are only certain exchanges that I trade on. But for example, if I make a trade on, if I long if I go long on F Bitcoin and I say Binance Margin, well, you can go long on F Bitcoin on whatever exchange you want to trade on, right? As long as the liquidity is fine, which is going to be all the majors, right? So it doesn't matter if you're on Binance Margin or regular Binance or Bittrex or Coinbase or Kraken. It doesn't matter what exchange you're going long on F Bitcoin. The only difference is going to be the execution and maybe a slight variation in last traded price, right? Because they are different exchanges. But arbitrage is so efficient in cryptocurrency that often that's negligible, right? That's negligible. I've been very, very, very active as a trader. The last couple of weeks have been absolutely fantastic. Okay. So let's get back into let's just look at Bybit here. All right, so basics here on the daily time frame, and we'll even go to Coinbase. We'll turn Quadrigo off, and we have breaking Bitcoin, the breaking Bitcoin initiator, continuation, and exit system right now. We have Wadatar Explosion, the default version. We have Parallax with the optimized settings that I shared in the community mentoring session the other day, and Minx. All right. And then we have ATR down here as well. We don't really need ATR. But this is good. It is important to point out that ATR is falling, and that is good. As I said, the reason why I am short the VIX while traditional markets are bullish is that you'll often see uptrends continue with falling volatility, right? Volatility tends to spike during periods of market uncertainty, or the VIX tends to spike during periods of market uncertainty and in bearish trends. It can obviously spike in when price is going up, but you will often see, or you can often see, price moving up consistently, not aggressively, but consistently, ploddingly, just a kind of a patient, not a patient, but a well-paced uptrend, right? So a traditional uptrend, because traditional markets are historically bullish with, highly volatile sell-offs that then just rally up slowly and ploddingly, right? And that's what we're seeing right now. Good to see you, Bob the Builder. I don't think he was expecting that bullish of an answer. 5,500. Computer Tech is holding a spot long that I never hedged prior to the huge dump, but now I know how to hedge, so that's cool. There you go, baby. That's what's up, Mr. Ether. Just took profit on Bitcoin. Let's go. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that there leaderboard there. I've been watching you. Where is it? Is it over here? Here we go. We got the leaderboard. All right, looking over at the Bitcoin trading competition leaderboard. We got Furry Boffin, Rhino Trader. Oh, man, that's a good win, dude. That bumped you up a lot. Good looking. Yeah, man. Just hanging out. Nice and easy. Slow and steady, guys. Slow and steady. All right. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit here, guys. Let's look at the weekly trend on Bitcoin. What's interesting about Bitcoin on the weekly, and this weekly hasn't closed, but we will change the BB filter to 30 because we are looking at the weekly now. And that doesn't change things too much. On the weekly time frame, we are now trading above the continuation filter, which on a weekly time frame technically would put us in a no trade zone. So for weekly swing trades, we're not quite there. On the weekly, we still need to close above 86.59 to say that price has recovered on the weekly and that price is signaling a trending weekly long. Although, I mean, a heck of a reversal trade that was put in here. This long-legged doji, you know, kind of signifying the local bottom of the market. Receding watt of volume, breaking now above the continuation filter. So on the weekly time frame, the level between where we just broke, actually this level all the way down here now, which is in our support level, this level to this level, it's a 50% range, is on a weekly time frame a no trade zone. And that is, yeah, I know you were down. Mr. Ether says I was down 40+%. So you just made what, like 37% in a trade? That's what's up on your equity. That is a good trade. That is a banger trade. So this area to this area is a weekly no trade zone. It's a wide range. It is a wide range, but it is there and it is designed to protect you from weekly swings for those who are taking weekly swings. And the whole point here is that you expect to get more of that, again, breaking above that weekly trend, just as we did back here. The last time we broke above, the weekly trend was back here, and we put in almost 250% gains, and then we broke up over here. Weekly signal was given at the top of this candle, and you had about a 25% gain possibility. But not losing 50% is the most important thing. You want to structure yourself and put yourself in a position to gain as much as possible and reduce your potential losses as much as possible, right? That is what we are attempting to do here. All right, so weekly time frame is in a no trade zone, is neutral. However, you are clearly getting told here on the weekly time frame, if we close like this, that one should be exiting shorts, okay? One should be exiting shorts. Now, one thing to keep in mind in the level of support and resistance, we are coming up upon this weekly order block, daily order block, 4-hour order block. This is previous support that one would expect to act as resistance. We're at the upper boundary of that right now. So again, a pullback here to me seems likely. A pullback here to me seems likely. And again, potential about 6% pullbacks. That would kind of be predicting a pullback of pretty much what we've given in today. And that could happen in the course of a single day. That could happen over the course of the week. But just to kind of nicely establish this range and reclaim it, and then again, kick off to the upside, right? So again, I kind of said this earlier today as well, looking for opportunities for intraday trades, looking to take profit, and breathe a little bit and letting the market breathe, and just hold your trending trades open, right? Hold those trending long trades to the upside. But you want to be kind of careful about throwing yourself against the wall when we are at relative local highs, especially when the 4 hours is extremely overbought as it is. All right, with that being said, let's get back down to the daily. The daily is, again, I'd like to say interesting today, but it's really not. I mean, we were positioned to the long side several days ago, so not a whole lot has happened over the weekend. We just held those long positions open. It was a boring Saturday, it was a boring Sunday, and then Monday wakes up and price moves up. And so here we are. You can see us right at the top of this range. So a movement down to retest the bottom of that range where the continuation filter is sitting at. The continuation filter is sitting at 68, 67. That would not surprise me at this point in time. Yeah, so there's two comments here back to back that are coming from the same place, and they're absolutely, you guys are absolutely correct. Zuhair Nakvi, thank you so much for the $10 Australian dollar tip, my good friend. He says, I feel gutted. trying to catch tops, trading against continuation long mink signals, which I watched your premium content earlier on reversal trading. Now it feels too late to flip long, and that's okay, man. Like that's totally okay, because it's a lesson, right? It's reversal trading can be attractive when it works, and that is how most people attempt to approach the market. That's how a lot of the education is put out there, and I just don't think it's an effective way to make money. There is so much opportunity to be gained by trading with the trend, and I think the returns are larger, and I think it's an easier, more consistent way to trade. That's what I teach. That's what I promote. That's what I trade myself personally. And I just really think that's the way to go. There are certainly reversal elements that we can fit into our strategies, generally for exit indicators. And there's going to be times trading a trending strategy where you're going to feel similar to how you feel now, right? Where you're like, man, I just got, I basically wrong, every single time. But here's the thing, that is going to happen no matter what, right? There are days in the market where there's nothing, everything that I touch, every trade that I take, right? And this can happen. This has gone on for like weeks at a time, where every trade I take is just the wrong trade, right? I can't do anything right. It doesn't matter. There's not an asset class that I can touch that I can't screw up. And that's going to happen to anybody, because there is an element in trading that is just called chance, right? And you cannot, it's not the most important element, but it is an element that rears its head every once in a while. Strategies work well. Strategies have a certain edge in the marketplace. And what we do with trending strategies is we attempt to optimize our trading strategies to the most frequent conditions of the market, which is either weakly trending or strongly trending, right? And so there are, tepid opportunities for profit making. These are generally like, we had take profit one and it pulled back and it broke our, hit our break even stop loss. This could happen in tepid markets. But when markets are strongly trending, we are primed, we are set up to really eat a lot of that trend, which is a huge movement and generates a lot of profit by return. So yeah, it's okay, man. Like, just don't take it too hard, man. Don't take it too hard. We're all going to have losing days. We're all going to have losing weeks. We're going to have losing streaks. And, you just understand that it doesn't really mean that you're a bad trader, or that you're going to have a bad tomorrow, or that you're going to have a bad week, or that you're going to close a negative month. It doesn't mean any of that, right? It just means, it depends. It depends on why the losses are occurring, right? Are the losses a part of your system that you've constructed and should be trading? If so, then don't freak out about it. Are your losses generated from something that you did external to your system? Then you need to start evaluating your system to not do those things, right? Not like you can never do those things, but you don't want to right now. You want to trade the system as it's written on the paper, do that thing and only those things. And then you have a good baseline for success, right? At the end of the day, we have to measure all our results in P&L. And Mr. Ether says, yep, I was down 40%. It was 2 trades. I tried trading without my system over the weekend and could have been up 37% had I left it alone. Yep, exactly right, man. Exactly right. The confidence ratios or confidence percentages are important here, right? So, whenever you make a change to your system, test it. And as you begin to implement changes to your system, you want to implement those slowly over time. Hui says, hello, it's so late. Are we dumped to 3.5K now? 5.5, 6.5, 6.8, most likely 6.8. Not gonna lie. Okay. Daily time frame. All right, so we got our continuation long signal over here on the 1st of April. We hit take profit 1 on this candle, hung out for a few days, and now we have reared up, not quite to take profit 2. We've got a ways to go for take profit 2, but again, our stop loss is in break even, and we'll see if we end up getting an exit signal. Right now, we don't currently have anything. There's no objective trending exit signal. Based on support and resistance, a little bit of a pullback here back to the top of this level would make a little bit of sense. So we will see. We'll see. I think the trend remains still overall bullish. I think that, listen, I don't really understand why, and I'm not, this isn't directed at you, Gui. It's just, I don't really see the point in attempting to predict that we're going to go down to 3,500 or 2,500. Let's lose 6,000 first, right? Like, let's lose 7,000 first, right? And then we can, when the trend is bearish, we can start talking about, we're gonna go down. Like right now, the trend is bullish, so I would expect movements to the downside to be pullbacks to be long, right? You trade in the direction of the trend. There's a lot of people right now, and it always happens in periods of, big market volatility and big moves, right? Everybody is calling that the stock market is going to drop another 50 or 40 or 30% or anything like that. And, I don't want to say who cares. That sounds a little too cavalier, because it's not. It's just nobody knows. Right? I'm a professional trader and I don't know. And you don't need to know to make money. You just need a trading system, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. When you enter and when you exit, and then depending on your risk tolerance, you either sit in something that's volatile with a hedging strategy, or you're more conservative and you just sit in cash and you increase your net value, your net asset value as you trade, because that's what a successful strategy is designed to do. And that's it. Bro, I'm going to get down at $4,200 longs fill. WTF, man. All right, you need me to I will lay on the bearish sentiment then. I will start layering it on. I mean, we need price to go down and fill those longs, bro. Don't get me wrong. I would love to. I'd love to get long down there too, man. Happy I made my spot buys. Good evening, Joe Ray. Good to see you. Is Restream not working? Is my D-Live not working? Are you guys just not talking on D-Live? All 9 of you. Come on, guys. Put some lemons in the chest. I get some excited over there in D-Live land. All right. Let's see. We got a lot more to talk about, guys. All right, so let's go down to the 4-hour time frame here. 4-hour time frame here, we can see it's nice reversal doji right here, meaning that buyers and sellers are at equal strengths. And this does look a little bit more reversal style to me. So again, we are at the upper area of this range. So we get this nice pullback to about 6,800 roughly in this area. Would not surprise me. Is that something that I want to short sell? No, I'm not looking to go short. I'm not looking to go short. I would look to long pullbacks in a bullish trend. If the trend flips bearish, then I would short corrections. But that's not where we're at. And then getting down to the LTFs, again, we did get a nice couple sell signals here and here and here. And the 15-minute trend has flipped bearish, right? So I wouldn't really be looking to do anything right here. You can see when the 15-minute kind of gives you this nice initiation, when the breaking Bitcoin filter goes bullish. And right here, when it's bearish, you just kind of want to stay out of the market. And that's exactly where we are right now. So we need to go all the way back up to 74.13 for continuation long signals. All right, let's go back to the main Ethereum. Yeah, we're seeing Ethereum pull back as well. And again, Ethereum moved up with more volatility, so it would not surprise me that we're going to see more volatile pullback as well for Ethereum. So let's check Ethereum. All right. All right, so, Ethereum, unlike Bitcoin, didn't really have that wibble wobble level, right? Like we're quite a ways away from that. Like if we look at where Bitcoin is, it's a very technical term, the wibble wobble level, right? Yeah, like Bitcoin is basically interacting with the lower boundary of its previous support that we would expect to turn into resistance. But Ethereum really isn't. Ethereum's got some more distance to go, right? And maybe it's just my perspective, but I think that's objectively what it looks like on the chart to me. Minx is not overbought on the daily time frame. WADA is still bullish. Parallax is still bullish, not in the overbought time frame. So I would say that the daily looks healthy. We are bullish above 147.84. That's the level that we need to hold. And the trend flips bearish below $100. That's quite a move, but that is what the chart says. Getting to the 4-hour time frame. I believe we are just starting. We're not just starting. We are quite overbought on the 4-hour time frame and about to get a cross under with a reversal doji. So again, a pullback here would not surprise me. Again, the daily pullback would basically say, oh, we're going to, resell half of this, basically retreat the whole level because the support level would be at 147.84. That would be a rounded retest at this point in time, depending on how you want to look at it. A rounding retest or a BPC. I wouldn't really consider a daily time frame a break, pullback continuation, but a round retest. If it takes us, 2 or 3 days, it depends on how many days to get down there. If we just dump right back down to support, that would be less bullish. If we get down there, if we have like 2 or 3 days of pullback here, that would be more bullish in my opinion. Is the breaking Bitcoin filter the volatility stop? It is not, sir. It is not, sir. All right, we talked about that. We talked about the 15-minute, and we can see here, very similar to Bitcoin, 15-minute time frame. We have flipped neutral or no trade. That means you want to wait for a more extensive pullback to go long. The breaking Bitcoin filter just keeps you in the good trades, especially when price is trending, right? If price is trending on higher time frames and you just don't know where to look for an entry, just, go down to the 15-minute for the break, or your baseline on there, right? You don't have a breaking Bitcoin filter, baseline is going to be good. All right, we've got VIX dropping, which is what I want to see over in traditional markets. Let's see, we went over the weekly, we went over supply and demand, we went over momentum, we didn't go over the Ichimoku, but that's okay. We talked about the daily system, our trend directional bias. We looked at intraday. We'll look at CME and GBDC if you guys would like to. Looking at S&P mini futures, moving into the evening. We are pulling back. S&P mini futures are pulling back. So again, I don't think that's really indicative of what we're going to be doing right now. Basically, you can see that we've just we did close positive, and we've just retraced to where we closed. So I'm not expecting a huge gap. It depends. The NASDAQ is pulling back a little bit more aggressively. The Dow is pulling back less aggressively. I think that the Dow is what looks the most bullish right now. And the Russell is actually holding up well because the Russell was getting beat up and the VIX continues to drop. As long as the VIX continues to drop, I'll be a little bit more bullish on traditional markets. Gold and silver having a fantastic day as well. I am long by proxy on gold. I'm long on UpGold, the ETF. And I'm long on the ZAG's US, the ZAG CFD. So, you want to look at the SPX CFD? Sure. I have no problem with that. This is a bullish chart. This is a continuation signal. Parallax is bullish. Minx is bullish now. This is the BB exit system. It's not the initiation system, but it's the exit system. Watertower explosion is bullish and kind of very similar to Bitcoin here, where we established this level of consolidation, and now we seem to be attempting to break above it on good volume, which is the nice follow through that I want to see. All right. This is a bullish chart to me. Bullish above 25.12. Bullish above 25.12, where the continuation on the daily is sitting. That's the level that we want to hold. Getting down below 22.16. I mean, we've flipped bullish on traditional markets. You think we can get to 3K and dump it all back? Listen, I'm long on the Dow, so then I'm short on VIX. So nothing would make me happier than if we go to 3K. Let's go, baby, and then let's dump it all down. I mean, that's going to be really interesting, right? Because so many people are convinced that the market has to fall lower, right? And it's going to be interesting to see how or where people put their money where their mouth is, right? So let's say price does get back up to 3K. In this case, like let's say we get another 10% positive movement out of the SPY. Are individuals gonna, sell at a gain to avoid a loss? Because think about it, right? When you think about the S&P, if you're extremely bearish and you think that we're going down, we are absolutely going down, then you have been given an opportunity to kind of sell at break even or sell at a gain. And if you don't, then you've gotten an opportunity to buy low. You just, at the end of the day, man, you got to put your money where your mouth is. The Aussie dollar from Mr. Zuhair Naqvi. Let's check it out. The Australian dollar looks good to me, man. The Dixie is right. Look at the where do I got it? Right here. Dollar index. Yeah, the Dixie is rising. It's getting a little bit of stall today, but it's again the trend has gone on a while. The only thing about the Dixie that slightly concerns me is this is about a 50% retrace of this sell-off, and this is usually where we're going to see signs of weakness. And again, we have this doji, this equilibrium doji right here, indicating potential weakness in the uptrend, or a pullback, right? A pullback at the very least. But, the larger thing to consider is after this big pump to the upside, this is a lower high, right? So, the question is, do we end up forming a higher low or a lower low? Is the question here for the Dixie, right? I would say, for me anyways, as long as the Dixie can stay above 99, I think we can continue to see bullish appreciation out of our dollar pairs. And getting back down below that, it's going to be more bearish. But, also, we don't have to just look at that. That's correlation. We can just look at the Australian dollar and say the Aussie dollar looks good, man. There's no signal yet. It would come today. We are breaking above the continuation filter. Minx is bullish. Parallax is bullish. Water explosion is bullish. We don't have a rising explosion level. We don't need one for a continuation trade. And again, this looks very similar to Bitcoin, right? We've put in this level of consolidation. And what I would really like to see is I'd like to see this candle with good volume and momentum closing, at least above, I would say 62. I would like to see not 0.62. Not 0.62. But again, the price level doesn't really matter. It's the volume that is generated that matters. I'd really like to see this rising explosion level because, with the explosion level falling, we have a good opportunity to actually get a rising explosion level, which would be another trade confirmer off a volatile movement. So I think there are better trades. I'm not long the Australian dollar. If you guys want to see all the pairs that I'm long, this was like, I feel like this is the mine. Was twice as long. Was twice as long today. I closed a lot of trades out in profit today. Closed a couple out not in profit. Money printer going, Burr won't let that market fall. Boris Bitcoin says, hey, Justin, with the rally and the SPY today, do I still expect lower prices over the coming weeks, or do I have increased confidence that we perhaps bottomed out in traditional markets and traditional equities? Again, the full answer is I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like we're going to continue this uptrend for a while. I think that we laid out a pretty cool idea where we can go up to 3K on, for example, the SPX 500 USD index, CFD, and then reverse from there. We still absolutely can. It does seem that the massive, highly volatile sell-off for right now is concluded. So I'm going to, before we start talking about bearish price, I need to see some bearish price action. Long term, do I, over the next 6 months to 9 months, do I really think the market's bottom? No, I really don't. I think it's going to get worse. I do. That's my bias. I need to see evidence to act on that characteristic, right? So, the Caribbean Crypto Show. Good to see you, my friend. Haven't seen any crypto shows out of the Caribbean in a while, though. You been sleeping? Have you been sleeping? Oh, all right. Again, the S&P is a bullish chart right now. Broke above this here continuation filter. Water is bullish. Parallax is bullish. ATR is in a bit of a downtrend, which is good. That's exactly what we want to see. Of course, the Qs and the Dow are going to look the same. We already talked about the Dixie. Gold spot. Again, gold is rallying. Silver is rallying. I think they both look strong. I think gold and silver both look strong. Let's go look at silver. All right. Again, nice breakup movement on good volume out of this consolidation area from silver. Level to hold for silver is 1472 from a from a candlestick construction perspective. It's actually 1437 from a trending perspective. And again, nice continuation. I wouldn't say continuation, but definitely telling you to exit shorts on the current daily candle. And again, the trend has been bullish for a while. I went long on silver over here on the second, had a little bit of drawdown, and now getting some great follow through on silver. Again, what a bullish, Parallax bullish. Mink's just now trending above the zero line on nice falling ATR, which is exactly what we want to see for a continued uptrend. These things are good. Gold, no different really. Gold on the daily had a little bit more volatile movement, but again, you can see that same stutter step right here, potential sell-off, fake out, and then rally to the upside. This is what I really like to see, closing above resistance on strong volume. That's what I talk about when I talk about looking for breakouts, looking for profitable breakouts, is that you need volume and you need a strong candle body close. And that's exactly what we got out of this here candle. Continuation long signal on the previous daily candle from Minx as well. Trying to stay Cerveza virus free is Mr. Caribbean Crypto Show. Gui says, thanks, Justin. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I know you're a systems trader. Just feeling if the markets will stay volatile in range 5 years, just dumping people around. Yeah, like me to pseudo traders on eToro and retirees trying to profit. Listen, there are trades. There are times, rare times, where I'll trade my bias, right? Where I'll trade my sentiment, and it's 90 to 95% of the trades that I take, it's probably more than that actually, are just systems trades, just the ones that my system generates, right? It's maybe once or twice a year where I'll take a trade based on fundamentals. And the market dropping is not one of those trades, right? Like oil, that was partly fundamental, but part technical as well. SH and SDS, right? Shorting the market on the way down. That was partly fundamental. But again, also technical, right? So I had the bias, and then, so really what for me anyways, I had the bias and the technicals confirmed it, and I applied more risk, right? That's typically what I do, right? Like if I have, and that's why it has to be so rare, because that can affect the results of your trading intra-month. Because if I lose a certain percentage of my account, I stop trading for a month. If I lose a certain percentage of my account in a day, I stop trading for the day and in a week, and et cetera, right? So, if you've got good reason to be very bullish or bearish on a chart, sometimes I'll put more capital behind it, but very, very rarely. Like again, everything has to line up really, really good for that to happen. Yeah, and I said we're going to see oil up here at 38. This is Mr. Bentley crude oil. We're going to see Bentley crude oil up at about 38. I think we'll see Bentley crude at 38 before we see it at 18. All right, so let's get into, it's already 9:48. There's so much for us to talk about. We should have gotten into this earlier. Maybe we'll start doing the news first. I don't know. You guys tell me. Let's look at some of the big movers for the day. Check out Crypto Bubbles. And again, it's a beautiful, bullish day for the entire market. Notable mentions today are going to be Matic, Zem, and gosh, I don't even know. But I know Matic for sure. Let's go take a look at Matic. This is Matic USDT. We'll look at Matic BTC. And this information is going to come from junior analyst Jason. And he says here that when we spoke earlier, he said that Matic is looking strong on the daily, and yesterday printed a continuation long at the close of yesterday's candle, right? Continuation long at yesterday's candle, giving you a long signal. Now on my system, everything on my system, one could have gone long on this. Not really on the Matic BTC. On the Matic USDT, it was strong. We could have taken the Matic USDT. But on the Matic BTC, But on the Matic BTC, this system would not have caught. This one went for Jason's system. Now, his system, it is at the qualifying line. So if one takes the price, if one were to take Matic BTC to the upside right now, they would have to do so at reduced risk, right? Now, one looking for a better entry, I think, would be better served to be looking for something like a baseline pullback here, so they could take a reversal baseline bounce. And that level is going to be, anyways, the continuation filter is sitting at 169 sats, but perhaps the safest area is going to be 155. So targeting the 169 to 155 area there for Matic, I think it's going to be what's best. Limit orders around that, limit orders around that range. And Matic trading with a market capitalization of $37.48 million today. It's about 218. Or excuse me, it's about 5,000 Bitcoins, 24-hour volume of 42 million. So that's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. Quite a lot. Good movement out of Matic today, relative to normal conditions. Now, the other thing that we're going to look at is Zem BTC, Mr. Nemeko. Maybe it was Zem USDT. Yeah. Interesting that Zem did not outperform BTC, but still had a good day to the upside. So looking at Zem, trading against Tether, Zem looking very similar to Matic, as you can see, but just now, for Jason's system anyways, giving the initial long signal on yesterday's close. All right. Unlike Matic, Zem is below the qualifying line, so a full risk trade position here. Now looking at the, so this is USD around the 0.0398 price range is valid. All cylinders potentially firing. Now, for me personally, I agree as well. This is a continuation long signal. Now, for me, you can see here that my parallax is not bullish on today's daily close. So the trade for me taking them to the upside would be entirely dependent on how this candle closes right here. If we close above 37, the way that we are without significant signs of reversal or any kind of reversal signal, then I would consider NEM a valid trade to the upside. But this daily candle has to close, right? And with, a market capitalization of 364 million, doing well. That's in a 24-hour volume, only 8.8 million, but still high to what we've seen relatively for Zem. And of course, Digibyte looking strong on the daily chart today. But in terms of looking for a position, it is already past that point, right? One could have taken the continuation long signal that was generated over here or over here on the 1st or the 2nd of April, right? When we basically went spot long on Bitcoin. It is Restream. But in terms of looking for a position, as I said, pretty well past that point. One could have taken the continuation long on DGB on April 1st or April 2nd. Again, as I said, essentially when we went spot long on BTC and would have already had all three take profits. Nothing to do with Digibyte here today if you were not already in it. So again, and you can see just long sell-off, long tail of the upside. Market capitalization of 83.34 million. That's about, should be about almost 12,000, 11,300 Bitcoin. 24-hour volume of 3.173 million. It's about 430 Bitcoin. So again, good activity, good volume, good activity out of DGB today. Matic and Zem, but I don't see anything. I don't see anything for those dailies. So we've got a lot that we want to talk about. Let's take a gander over here at current fear and greed index is still, I feel like this thing is stuck at 12 and the social index is still down. Let's see if we get a nice update if this will up. I feel like that's what it was the last time I looked at this. Yeah. Social index is down and we are still in the extreme fear period, which is silly to me. The social index is so overwhelmingly negative on Bitcoin right now. But here's the thing. Rising open interest. Rising open interest. Right? All right, so I want to get into today's news story, guys. Yeah. I gotta fix that chat one of these days. All right, let's get into today's news, guys. Of course, if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Turn on the bell notifications. If you don't subscribe, if you don't turn the bell notifications on, YouTube has moved away from the subscription-based model. So there is no guarantee that they will give you updates, even if you are subscribed to our channel. So make sure to smash the make sure to smash the bell icon if you guys want to be notified. We are live every single evening at 9 p.m. All right, guys, now let's go see how Jason is doing over there on Bybit, and we'll be back with today's news. Can't catch a break over on BitMEX with all the wicks? Try a better alternative at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and rest easy for a change. It gets me every time. All right, guys. So let's talk about this. Our first story today for our cryptocurrency segment is going to be about Bitcoin Cash. Now, with the Bitcoin Cash halving less than 2 days away, tough times seem to be in store for the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, as well as related Bitcoin.com staff. Now, if you guys don't know, Bitcoin.com is a Roger Ver operation. It is predominantly focused on the Bitcoin Cash fork of Bitcoin, and it does offer a news website, its own wallet, an exchange platform, as well as running their own mining pool. Now, in these troubled economic times, with crypto markets seeing a huge decline in March, Bitcoinist is reporting here that 50% of Bitcoin.com staff was laid off on Friday, just days ahead of Tuesday's halving event. Now, leading up to this event, speculation has been rampant. What will happen to Bitcoin mining if price doesn't perform a strong rally this year? Now, you may recall we've recently reported on how mining on the Bitcoin networks had a significant drop in difficulty and how this affects the miners, and in turn, how they affect the markets. Well, immediately following the difficulty adjustment, a number of miners on the BCH network began shifting their rigs to mine Bitcoin instead of Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin's miner capitulation, which led to the large difficulty adjustment, which later results in attracting miners away from the BCH chain right in the middle of their volatile halving event. It puts BCH in a precarious situation, but its price right now is following the general crypto market recovery trend, sitting at $260 tonight. It has bounced from the $150 low, but despite its market performance, the BCH community's creators and advocates aren't sending overly bullish signals, in our opinion. The tech networking site Candor compiled a list of companies freezing the hiring or laying off of staff due to the Cerveza virus, and it included Bitcoin.com among them. Let's find it on here. Bitcoin.com. Now, Bitfury, the company behind ASIC miners, or one of the companies behind ASIC miners, was also on the list. And this notes that Ripple is in the middle of a hiring freeze as well. Now, drastic measures being taken, Bitcoin.com and the BCH chain winding down this much staff at once never looks very positive. While the BCH protocol may be bigger than just Bitcoin or Roger Ver, it is in for a challenging month ahead with the imminent halving and the uncertain market conditions. So what do you guys think? What are you guys expecting out of Bitcoin Cash, out of the halving event? As I said, not a good look. Not a good look. All right. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. I mean, personally, listen, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what Bitcoin Cash's price does post-halving, right? But more interesting than the halving is to watch the community and watch the mining pools. If price does not recover in a significant way, then mining is going to be relatively unprofitable for a majority of the people that are mining, assuming difficulty stays the same. And we'll see. All right, you can, the newest level of ASICs just launched, and so it's going to be a while before we have some new form of optimization. So basically, the rigs that they have currently mining at the peak optimization are as good as they're going to get for, I would assume, another 2 years. So interesting to pay attention to. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, our next story is going to be about the Bitcoin halving capitulation. Mining death spirals don't happen in real life. As we just discussed, around the time of the halving, there is a lot of talk concerning these concepts, such as the difficulty of mining and, potential miner capitulation whenever price drops a whole lot, and how all of these issues can lead to so-called death spirals for blockchains, proof of work blockchains, and how that can lead to a so-called death spiral for the underlying blockchain, right? If miners go into a death spiral, if there's miner capitulation, and then that just feeds in and on itself, that can lead to a death spiral for the blockchain. So we have this Bitcoin.com article, which points to the latest CoinShare study published by the head of their research by their head of research, Christopher Bendixson. And in it, he writes that Bitcoin mining death spirals do not actually happen in real life, and such speculations should be viewed as merely highly theoretical edge cases. So, as many of you may already know, the miners on the Bitcoin network get paid in Bitcoin whenever they mine a block. And every 210,000 blocks, or approximately every 4 years, the mining reward for finding that block is cut in half, is halved. And we call this event the halvening. Now, with the daily new supply of Bitcoin cut in half, until the time of the next halving, when it will be cut in half again, around the time of these halving events, enthusiasts and the community at large pretty much get to buzzing about what it will do for the price of these assets, right? With the underlying idea that this will increase demand. Because scarcity is increasing, therefore this is a scarce asset, is deflationary, therefore demand should go up. Now, in combination with this year's economic meltdown and the looming couldn't be any more dramatic. We could not have asked for a more fertile bed to spread the seeds of discontent with traditional banking system. All these factors combined, many crypto commenters and haters alike are forecasting doom for the industry if prices don't see a substantial rally from here. But as Christopher Bendixson goes on to argue in his report titled Why Bitcoin Miners Will Keep Mining, a true death spiral would be a highly improbable scenario. And he details how, with Bitcoin prices down more than 50% from their 2020 highs, miners have effectively lost half their income, and how a portion of the industry's miners are unprofitable and would be effectively forced to shut down. But in this doom-like scenario of miners exiting in droves, Bendixson acknowledges the drop in hash rate could be big enough to slow down block times enough to where the network comes to a near halt. A halting network, however, would cause price to potentially crash, leading to more miners dropping out until no one is left mining and the price genuinely craters to zero. But as the CoinShares report points out, this isn't entirely plausible because, for one thing, miners have a much longer-term perspective than a short-term speculator. Eventually, enough of a baseline dedicated community, including miners, always remains out of a longer-term interest in a project. He also explained how it would also take other additional factors to bring pressure down on the network, including gaming the protocol's DAA, or difficulty adjustment algorithm, as well as strategically dumping onto exchanges in volume and in a coordinated effort to bring price down and to bring this capitulation event about. But as the researchers claim. In real life, though, markets will not just be moved around like that. This would have to be a highly coordinated event, right? Now, there's other factors on an operational level that prevent shutdowns of especially large operations on rapid timelines, pointing out that powering down a several hundred megawatt mine is not as easy as flicking a switch. The local power grid itself would have to be taken into consideration when shutting down large operations in a moment's notice. And furthermore, many miners are said to have, offset agreements with their power sources, contractually mandating them to continue their draw for as long as they are able to pay their bills. And they're not going to go broke overnight. Now, the point being made in the report is that whether prices are dropping for Bitcoin, which they do all the time, or when the mining reward happens every 4 years, the operational realities are such that some players on the mining network feel a squeeze. Some are forced to go under and permanently close down shop. Others handle the period of drawdown and are driven by a longer time horizon where they hope to reap the rewards of the next market cycle, as they have done throughout previous history. Now, this report does conclude that the network was designed, and it is, the network is designed to handle these exact situations. And because of well thought out design choices in the Bitcoin protocol, the mining network has never been left in a position where it has failed to continue producing blocks. Mining difficulty has adjusted downwards on many occasions, sometimes even dramatically, as a result of crashing prices, which we see with the recent difficulty adjustment in a massive fear-inducing market crash that occurred back in March. And during that time, there was some sign of a few slow blocks around that time period, but the network was far from coming to a halt, even when price dropped almost 50%. And it's unlikely network participation would ever deteriorate to the degree of a genuine death spiral. So, in reality, not so easy to bring the system down. Let me know in the section down below, guys. All right, our final story today, of course, 36 days left into the halving, baby. Our final story for the day. If you guys are locked down in the middle of this quarantine and you are looking for something to watch on Netflix this weekend, there's Tiger King. But season 4 of Netflix's hit series, Money Heist, is set to drop today. Interestingly enough, the hardware wallet manufacturer Ledger has chimed in on the hit Netflix series, saying that it draws perfect parallels for Bitcoin and decentralization, and turns the whole Money Heist premiere as a public service announcement opportunity for the audience. Pretty cool. Now, if you haven't watched Money Heist yet, it features a gang of anonymous robbers who target centralized finance institutions with the goal of destabilizing the financial system. This is where the hardware storage company Ledger comes in, where in a recent blog post, they claim that these vulnerable financial systems are at the heart of the Money Heist plot, and they would be much more resilient if they were more decentralized. Right? They write how security is one of the aspects of centralized financial institutions, or one of the aspects where centralized financial institutions struggle in the modern world, which, as Ledger sees it, emerges from the simple fact that they are a central storage space for a lot of people's money, meaning there is an enormous potential for thieves to attempt to breach their system. And this huge trove makes them enticing targets. And thieves also happen to know where their infrastructure happens to be located because it's a huge centralized building. It is pretty easy to miss. Now, as Ledger described it, decentralized systems have the upper hand in security because rather than storing everything in one place, they disperse everything into a lot of different places. And this decentralization technology, Ledger notes, can only be seen in the cryptocurrency industry currently. On top of that, they also typically do not have any single central authority in charge for thieves to target in an exploit or otherwise coerce to try and gain access to the system. Ledger, of course, is turning this into a bit of a marketing opportunity, making the case to store your crypto in a safe space, far from the prying hands of international hackers via the use of a hardware wallet, which they are best known for, and they are the industry-leading name in with their Ledger Nano S and Ledger Nano X hardware wallets. Now, others are noting how the Money Heist show deals with many topics of international banking and finance, and with the governments around the world printing money at an unprecedented and some would say alarming pace in recent weeks, it's no surprise the show touches on the topic of quantitative easing, and even mentions in one episode this season in 2011, the European Central Bank made 171 billion euros out of nothing. Now, as Ledger describes, for potential newcomers to our space, what makes Bitcoin different from the traditional fiat and distribution is that it cannot be printed at will. Hard-coded into the Bitcoin blockchain, of course, is its 21 million hard cap to the number of coins that can ever be produced. Money Heist has, in fact, featured cryptocurrencies in some of its past episodes, and it's not the only Netflix show to do so. Altered Carbon, if you haven't seen that, I highly suggest you check it out this week as season 2 just dropped, as it's a very good sci-fi series, and it too happened to include several well-known cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Litecoin, and even Dogecoin in its very futuristic setting, which I think is like 300 years in the future, so you're pretty good there. And if you binge watch those, also check out Showtime's Billions show. It's about the high stakes and complex drama about power and politics in the world of high finance in New York and Wall Street. Topics like Bitcoin, crypto, and even ICOs are touched on in the show during the course of their premiere, and including Wall Street bankers fleeing the country with their money on hardware wallets, together with a duffel bag or two full of cash. So definitely good things to check out while you guys are on quarantine. A block off the old chain. Is that an expression? You heard it here first. All right, guys, with that being said, let's go and see what your guys' question are. Of course, make sure to leave any comments, thoughts, opinions, sarcastic remarks down below. And let's see if you guys got some questions for me today. Already answered a ton earlier. All right, let's do this chest, guys. Do I have a twin? Where do I find time to watch TV? You know, I don't watch TV too often, but, you know, I watch TV just like anybody else does, right? You know, there are small rewards that I work to, right? So, you know, the way that I do things, I think this is a good opportunity for maybe a bit. So let's hop to the main scene. Just a second. All right, so when it comes to things like luxuries or pleasures or things of that nature, right? You know, I'm a guy that likes to enjoy myself. I work hard and I tend to play hard. But the thing is, you know, too many young men and too many young women take leisure activities too seriously. Right? Or they indulge in leisure activities too much. There's nothing wrong with leisure activity. You need it for a good, healthy sense of what you are, right? But, you know, although watching TV can be enjoyable and pleasant, right? I don't advocate that you throw your TV out. However, I have done that at multiple periods of my life, not lived with a TV, right? Monitors, something different. I need monitors to work. But television or any sort of access to streaming, you don't need that. It's not necessary, right? Most individuals, you know, typically when people, you know, come to me, because that's like water cooler stuff, right? That's water cooler stuff. That is what people talk about who don't have anything genuinely interesting in their lives to talk about. They will say, hey, did you catch Walking Dead last night, bro? Yeah. Did you see how Negan bashed that guy's head? That was awesome. oh my God. And the zombies came out and Glenn fell down. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen next? I mean, do you think Maggie really loves him? You know, they talk about stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? These are stories that move our hearts and grip us. And they can be very educational tools because they can make us think about, things that don't come up in common conversation. But the alternative is that you can go and have experiences like that yourself, right? If you want to experience the zombie apocalypse, you just need to go to San Francisco on a Friday, right? Try to get out alive. But seriously, being productive, you can get so much more productive work done, right? I know that a really bad habit for a lot of young men is, and I know because this is a habit that I've broken myself of, is, kind of finishing up for the night, and then you go in and you turn on the TV and you start Netflixing or you start YouTubing and you just leave it on and you end up, you're trying to fall asleep, but you're watching TV and the light from the TV keeps you up. You get engaged in the content, so your brain is working and you're not really relaxing. And worse than that, there is some good evidence that would say that, having that sort of white noise on is not actually productive for your sleep, right? That you're not actually getting deep enough REM sleep. Now, I'm not a doctor, so that's speculation on my part. But again, I've done my homework on this and the results do seem pretty conclusive. Or convincing anyways. But we can also I think it's a pretty good idea that if you just go to bed in darkness and turn stuff off, or white noise, right? Actual white noise, you will fall asleep faster and you will wake up more refreshed, right? Whereas if you fall asleep to television, you will not fall asleep to television as quickly as you should, and you will end up just, sitting there engaging content, right? And then you're not getting enough sleep because you're like, oh, I'll just watch one episode. And then four episodes later, you end up finally like passing out. You're not falling asleep, you're passing out. And I don't think that's really healthy to do. So yes, I watch TV, not too much. I try to keep my television consumption down to a couple hours a week. Having said that, I like to binge watch shows. So, like, for example, what's the last show that I binge? Well, Altered Carbon was really the last show that I binge watched, right? I binge watched season 1 of Altered Carbon. I really enjoyed it. It was really good, right? Because if you're going to sit down, do it. I work really hard, so, on a Saturday, if it's really bad weather outside and I just want to hang out, or binge watching. Binge watching, baby. Let's see here. But yeah, I think that less TV is really, really good for people. Just be more, it helps you be more productive, right? And it helps you have genuinely more interesting things to talk about, right? Like, use all that time that you would watch TV for on like researching what's going on in the real world, right? Or read books, right? That's what I do, right? That's my bedtime routine. I go into my bedroom and I bust open a book, right? And I read. Right now I'm reading Arthur C. Clarke. So, I like to read old sci-fi. I like to read I like to read biographies or real life stories. I don't really have that true crime, dirty pleasure. A lot of guys have like the true crime, not true crime, or like detective novels, right? The hard-boiled detective novels, right? Like a lot of guys are into that. I'm okay with them, right? But not so much. I read, my dirty pleasure would be fantasy books, right? I like fantasy novels. Sci-fi, really. I like sci-fi way more than fantasy, but I like fantasy too, right? Yeah, it's better. Yeah, reading is good. Try to, shoot for a book a month is a good place to start, right? But, don't get me wrong, like, there's some fantastic television shows out there, right? I think Joe Rogan does this really good. He's like, Joe Rogan has this skit where he's talking about Game of Thrones, and he says, I hate people who say that the book was better, right? Like, they want you to know that they read. And He does the thing where he's like, oh, this is so much better than the movie. No, it's not. Like, you actually get to see it. Need to get on this Tiger King. Boris says he just wanted to point out the amazing confluence this morning on BTC 12 hour between the 1355 EMA cross, Minx continuation, and Wada Atar explosion confirmation. Damn, did I just really get called a boomer up in here? No. Stop it. Dane, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. Agency has taken this downtime from my business to build your mother a deck and plant a garden. Yeah, I started my seedlings last night from my bucket garden. I'm doing a bucket garden this year. I'm happy. Yeah, I got all the lumber. I started the seedlings last night. A little late, beginning of April is not as early as I'd normally like to, but that's okay. I'm going to do some staggered seedlings and be doing tomatoes and peppers and cauliflower and broccoli and kale and spinach and lettuce and just all the good stuff, right? I got about 3 troughs that I'm going to do with 5-gallon buckets. So I've got all the river rock, I've got all the potting soil, I've got all the organic soil as well, and the seed starter soil and the tomato tone and all the stuff that I want. So really looking forward to that. And yeah, I mean, I've done some roofing. I reorganized my office. I cleaned, fixed my dad's car. Wrong channel to admit that on. 12-step is the other one. Zuhair Nakfi, thank you so much for the 20 Australian dollars, my brother. He says, what's your view on Grin's monetary policy of fixed inflation and price driven by demand? Combined with the fungibility of Mimblewimble, I feel it makes a fundamentally better candidate for money than Bitcoin long term. Well, I don't really know. I'd hate to be honest. I mean, the answer to your question is I don't really know, right? I don't really know too much. I mean, I've supported Grin from the beginning, right? And I think it's a good concept and it's a good idea. I think that the kind of the problem here is that I don't necessarily know if it's the better technology. I don't necessarily know if you need that. I think these are interesting concepts that can be done layer 2, for example, on Bitcoin. But Grin is a good experiment. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of network effect it can build. Because at the end of the day, that's what we need. More so than, for example, right? Like, why is the United States dollar the reserve currency? It's not because it is inherently easier or cheaper or faster or better to use than the British pound or the euro or the Singapore dollar or the Australian dollar. It's because the American military, and it's so prevalent. That's why. So you need but the point there is like the network effect, right? The dollar has a network effect, which makes it functionally easier to use because more people accept it. So the difficulty for Grin obviously is the same difficulty that Bitcoin had, but as Bitcoin, there's a huge argument here. There's a huge argument here for network effect, right? So, for example, I remember having this argument about Ethereum, right? Where people kept talking about, is Ethereum a better form of money? I don't think so. I think Ethereum is a better form of potentially programmable money. But I think that Bitcoin is a better store of value. Yeah, I would, and really, I want to know more. I'm not an expert on, hello, microphone. I'm not an expert on Grin. I'm not an expert on Mimblewimble. I am not an expert on their monetary policy. So I don't want to speak to something that I don't necessarily know. So let me get some more information on that. And I prefer to speak on topics where I'm very, very, I have the odds stacked in my favor. Talking about Grin's monetary policy that's not my strong suit, man. I don't really know. Fungible money seems important on the surface. I don't think so. I don't think you need non-fungible money. All right, I don't think you need fungible money, but that's a contentious topic. All right, with that being said, guys, it is 10:30. Now listen, we're going to try to be here at noon tomorrow. We're going to try to go back to the original time slot. Should that not work out, we'll be here at 9. We'll put out an announcement in the morning to let you guys know for sure. So just be patient with us and work with us, and we hope to see you guys here for the show, whether it's at noon or whether it's at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Of course, I, as always, am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them in the comments section down below, and I will do my best to get back to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. Make sure to smash the like button. Follow us on Twitch or Twitter. Twitter and Instagram. We post exclusive content there you will not see anywhere else. And turn on notifications. Otherwise, you will not get notifications for the show. And we are live every single day. All right. There are links down in the description for everything you could possibly need. If you are just beginning your journey toward trading and you would like the guidance and experience of our team, our premium indicator suite, our strategy building course, Pathways to Profit, as well as our mentoring, everything that we offer, so much, including our educational material, make sure to check out everything that we do and join our community at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link in the description for more information. There is so much stuff down there. So much stuff down there. I don't even know where to begin. All right. We will be back tomorrow at hopefully 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, this is your evening, hopefully tomorrow, afternoon source for markets and finance and everything cryptocurrency, guys. You guys have a fantastic evening, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.